iTunes Entertainment Magazine, where the focus is to bring information and entertainment wrapped in a little something extra that is pertinent and relative to all of us, regardless of culture. Our features aim at catering somewhat to the curiosity in all of us, whether it be business, entertainment, health and wellness, immigration, our youth, and more. So please visit our website at www.itunesentertainmentmagazine.com or itunesentmagazine.com. Also inviting you to check us out on IG and Twitter at iTunesEntMag.
Hi, I'm Coach Mia, founder of Official Women of Culture 365. Welcome to Caribbean Straight Talk with real conversations and great interviews. And now, here are your hosts.
This is Lima Dunbar, and this is Caribbean Straight Talk, the show where it's as real as you can get it. We have, for the most part, we have conversations on politics, but also over the coming months, we will have conversations on anything and everything, that's happening within our various communities. Our host, George Bousson, is away on assignment. So, hey, you guys are stuck with me, Lima Dunbar. So I got to remind you, if you don't already know this, that open early voting, has already started. Early voting has already started. I have my ballot in front of me. I am in Orange County, but today we have a young woman, Seminole County, District 2 school board candidate that's going to be our guest, Miss Kelly Davis. But before we bring Kelly on, let me just let you know what the election dates and deadlines are. Of course, registering to vote, already gone. If you haven't registered to vote yet, that window has closed. Okay, early voting, October 24th, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. through November 6th. Again, early voting, October 24th to November 6th, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then, of course, the big day is November 8th. I would like you all to understand how important it is for all of us, not just you or any one of you, myself included, understand how important it is that you vote, that we vote. Many people died so that we can have this right. Many people died. And it's our responsibility, I should say, that we go out and vote. I would like to say I really don't care who you vote for as long as you go out and vote. But I'm going to be real because this show is all about being real. It matters. It matters that you put candidates in place that will look out for your interests, your family's interests. Now, if you want Social Security to cut, go ahead, vote for the Republican man. Again, my disclaimer is I am an independent. I am not a registered Democrat. I am not a registered Republican. Yeah. I am a registered independent. So for me, it's important that I vote for the person or the candidate that best represents my needs and the needs of my family. I ain't gonna give you all my age, but I'm in the 50s. It's important that when it's time for me to collect Social Security, that it is there. I am not going to put a candidate in place that will cut Social Security. I am not going to put a candidate in place that will take away all my current rights. We've already seen Roe versus Wade, that there's been a reversal on that. We've already seen that happening. As a woman, I don't want you in my business. Okay? Come to think of it, why is it that they're only focused on the woman? Why is it that they're not focusing on the male? It takes two to get a woman pregnant. Or did a lot of us forget that? However, I kind of like digressing a little bit. We'll come back to that later on in the show. But in the meantime, I'd like y'all to prepare for our guest, Miss Kelly Davis, and she is the school board candidate for District 2 in Seminole County. So we'll talk to Kelly on the other side of this break.
The Seminole County School Board serves to protect, empower, and inspire our students, families, and teachers. I am Kelly Davis, and I am running to serve on the school board because as a mother, grandmother, and former teacher, I recognize the challenges we face, and I know how we can solve them together. I thank you so much for voting. I am Kelly Davis, and I wholeheartedly approve this message.
And we are back right here on Caribbean Street Talk. You can hear us every Monday night on itunesradio.com with rebroadcast or simulcast on islandbeatradio.net. And again, let me introduce our guest, Miss Kelly Davis, and she is the school board candidate for District 2, predominantly Seminole County. Kelly, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Out of curiosity, we know it's Seminole County, all right? And Seminole County is pretty much Oviedo, Sanford. Gee, Seminole County is not as large as Orange County. Orange County, I believe, is larger. However, Seminole County, she is the school board candidate for District 2. And I also have all the candidates that are for Seminole County Democratic Voter Guide. As I said to our audience earlier on, Kelly, I am a registered independent. And I used to be a registered Democrat, but I'm a registered independent. And for me, it suits my needs right now. It suits my needs. However, when it comes to voting and elections, I'm sorry, I vote down ballot, especially for the past 2 election cycles. Down ballot Democratic. So again, welcome to CST. And let's get into our questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. DeSantis's education bill, which limits how race and sexual orientation can be taught, and if you believe this will impact the quality of the education being given to our children. So what are your thoughts on his education bill?
Well, this is one of the main reasons why I entered the race. I had not been aware of the bills that were going around until a good friend of mine went through them with me. At that point, I was pretty shocked about what our governor was trying to pass. Unfortunately, these bills went into law. The first one is the Don't Say Gay bill. The second one is what we call the Anti-Discrimination bill, which, you know, if we want to be real, basically means they don't want you to discriminate against white people. So
that's what it is.
It is. And, you know, these issues will harm our students. There's no doubt about it. Seminole County Schools, just like any other district, you know, we're here to serve all of the children. We're here to make sure that everyone gets a good education, that they are set to succeed in life. Unfortunately, now that these bills have passed, and just last week when our state school board has enacted into law consequences for not following these bills, which include 5-year suspensions of your teaching license, and it also includes some criminal sanctions.
Wait. Did you just say loss of your teaching license for 5 years, as well as what?
Criminal sanctions for failing to follow the rules.
You can go to jail?
Yes, you can. And these were
passed. What is it with them and sending people to jail?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. If teachers are threatened with their license and the possibility of jail, we have a hard enough time retaining teachers now. What do you think is going to happen now that this law has passed? So some of these teachers who aren't willing to risk it anymore. They don't know what they can say and what they can't say. And that's a big problem. And that's what I think the school board's responsibility is going to be, is to interpret these laws, and to create policy where teachers can be free to teach. You
Okay, pause for a second. Um, isn't this going to be difficult because the Florida legislature is Republican?
It is. And when you were talking about voting, I encourage everyone to look up the candidates for our legislature, for our senators, and make sure that they are going to be supporting schools, because this is where our students learn how to behave. This is where our students learn respect. This is where they learn equality, acceptance, and kindness. Most importantly, kindness. And because of these laws, teachers may be a little bit shy about discussing certain things. We certainly don't teach sexual orientation, but it's a fear that if they're asked questions, that if they respond in certain ways, then they're going to be punished.
Because how that response comes about is if there's kids in the class that are, well, they're well aware of the viewpoints of their parents, they will take that information back to their parents, their mother or father, and say, hey mom, guess what the teacher taught in school today? And that's when the ball starts rolling. But what
Exactly.
the next problem with this is, you'll find that a lot of teachers will not be going into colleges or universities to major in education. So we already seen a drop in recruitment because of that too.
You're right about that. And especially with a lot of our senior teachers not earning what they believe that they deserve, and I think they deserve. These are the more experienced teachers that we can use to mentor our incoming teachers, who are more experienced in discipline in the classroom and out of the classroom. These teachers are not going to want to stick around. And if we are going to bring in new teachers, we need them. Obviously, you're correct that some won't even want to go into teaching to begin with. It's too scary for them now.
It's scary, and I think what our listeners need to understand also is that this don't say gay bill. There's another, the bill that you mentioned also about um
The
race.
anti-discrimination bill.
Yes, that also overlaps into the workplace. So you'll find a lot of employers have stopped doing sensitivity training and stuff like that, because the whole reason that this bill was brought about is that they don't want, the scientist doesn't want white people to get into their feelings, which some of them will tend to go. So, I mean, it's life. You're trying to legislate life.
You're right. And we've been dealing with race for a long time. I'm in my 50s as well. And I can't remember a time, at least when my kids, which are now 33, 34, were in school, where anyone accused a white person, hey, I blame you for slavery. I think that we're smart enough to understand that history was history. We need to learn about that. We need to figure out where we got where we are right now, with discrimination. Obviously, it's still prevalent, but we need to understand the process and how we eliminate it from our schools. Obviously, the workplace as well. But remember, again, our kids are the ones that are going to grow up, and our kids are the ones that are going to reflect, these feelings, or these practices. And we need to hit them early, and make sure that they understand that we all need to be respected and appreciated for our differences. That's what makes diversity a wonderful thing.
Well, you just said we need to hit them early. And if I remember, one of those bills addresses what is taught in the earlier years of our kids' lives, such as pre-K, grades 1, 2, and 3. So what the scientist has already started doing is he's targeting the young ones. So that means you're targeting the next generation. I mean, you got to admit the man is pretty slick here, okay? He's pretty slick. He's kind of
Yeah,
thought ahead.
he
Okay,
has. And
pretty
he's doing
slick for all the wrong things. Go
well,
ahead.
he's
I'm
doing
sorry.
this too because he's at the end of his term. And I think that him running again for governor is just a leap to try to run for the presidential election.
Yeah.
And he wants to shock people. It's a shock in all things, just like Trump did.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It seems to be working. I'm sorry to say, but it seems to be working. I was looking at the news, I think was yesterday or today, where they're forecasting that Miami-Dade, one of the largest counties, will trend red, which has never happened before in, I think they say 30 or 30 plus years. But it's going to happen this time because the Hispanics who um I'm I they make me wonder sometimes, because I understand to an extent why they vote conservative, because a lot of people seem to think that Hispanics are they associate them with a lot of passion, and if they're like that, then maybe they're not conservative, but they are. They're very conservative, and
Yeah.
they're trending towards what the Republicans are for, which is conservative thought and practices. And I think that's how they're drawing them in, not realizing that you're voting against your own self interests.
I agree with you. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that they're using is their religious beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the Hispanic people are very religious,
Mm-hmm.
and that is associated with conservatism, even though really it's not the case. But I believe the Republicans are playing on that
Mm-hmm.
just to get their attention and draw them in.
And it's working, because again, a lot of people don't really think long term. They think for the here and now, which brings me to we're not just yet ready to go into our second question, but it brings me into another reason why a lot of people, why the Republicans seem to be pulling ahead right now, because the 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 economy, which when you compare it to other countries, the United States is doing pretty good, pretty well, but this whole fear mongering is beginning to just take a hold of people's minds. But again, Kelly, I digress. I'm showing the things that really pissing me off. I'm sorry, but again, this is Caribbean Straight Talk. We're supposed to be real, which is what we are. So let me go into the next question. Can you please tell us a little bit more about your background and what prompted the change from being a teacher to becoming an attorney, and now going back into education to advocate for our children as a school board commissioner?
Well, originally I went in the United States Army right out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was stationed in Panama in Central America.
Mm-hmm.
There, of course, you learn a lot of discipline, you learn a lot of teamwork, and you learn how to work together for a common goal. When I came back to the United States, that's when I started my degrees, and I ended up graduating with an education in mathematics degree. That's when I went to Seminole High School. And I think from the very beginning, I had a pretty good stance on discipline, and I had a pretty good stance on drawing that line
Mm-hmm.
between a teacher and a friend. A lot of our teachers make the mistake and think that the nicer they are to the students, the more they let them get away with, that the better they'll be respected, and that really doesn't usually happen. So I spent my years teaching at Seminole High School, a lot of times going into other teachers' classrooms, especially when they had substitute teachers, and sort of instilling that sort of discipline in the classroom. And my kids loved it. They felt safer. They felt that they could get things done. It wasn't a bad thing for them. But I know that a lot of our teachers have struggled with this very issue. After teaching, a lot of my students at Seminole High School were getting in trouble with the law. I thought a lot of them were being treated unfairly. And that prompted me to go to law school. Graduated top of my class at UF. I loved it. I planned on doing criminal defense. I worked for the public defender's office for several years before going out on my own. So I've had my own business now for probably 16, 17 years now.
And is that in the criminal?
It is. I do criminal defense, and I also do family law. I do a lot of juvenile cases, and I also obviously deal with families in some of their worst situations.
Okay, see that family law, that's a tough field, because and what I found is that a lot of lawyers or attorneys are leaving that field. I don't know if it's because of the whole DCF connection, and DCF is a monster all by itself. So I don't know why, but for some reason, a lot of attorneys in the family, they're leaving that field. Is that something that you also noticed?
I haven't noticed it as much, but it is tougher with all the laws changing. And it really is an emotional investment into the families, into the children, and how they're affected. But a lot of them don't touch a courtroom in criminal defense. And when somebody is facing some serious jail time or prison time, um, that can be very stressful and very emotional. I get very involved with my clients.
I mean, that's good. And that's a segue for me to ask this question, which has, it's not a question that I have here on the list, but it's, we're dealing in real time and current events. Um, you saw that Supreme Court Justice, what's his face? Uh, Roberts has, no, not Roberts, the other guy, who I'm talking about. I refer to him as the Oreo, but I'm sorry.
Well, Clarence
I
Thomas.
could say that, but you, I don't want to put you on the spot now, but did you see that he blocked Lindsey Graham, his response to the being subpoenaed in Georgia?
I did not see that, but I know that there have been some issues, surrounding his wife and her participation in things. I don't think that you can separate your job from your family necessarily, and it causes me great concern when you have a spouse who is that much of an advocate for one side. I'm not sure how you can separate it, and that's bothersome because I know how he rules as part of a member of the Supreme Court, and it's very much in line with her views, even though it is a nonpartisan position. You're supposed to be fair and equal to everyone, and it's just like the school board as well, but that doesn't seem to be happening. So
Doesn't seem to be happening. My concern is that um, I'm happy that thus far President Biden has started changing the narrative of what he says when he's campaigning, and he's actually being more real. We need to see that, because guess what? I think the Democrats really need to start looking at expanding the Supreme Court, because
yeah,
right now, this Clarence Thomas, I keep forgetting the man's name. Clarence Thomas has showed us who he is. He has showed us who he is, and he refuses to recuse himself. So it's like you have certain expectations of what a Supreme Court justice is supposed to do, and he's not doing it. So I think at this point, we, the public, which includes Democrats, Republicans, and independents alike, we need to start, asking, and putting them on blast that certain things have to be done, because right now the Supreme Court, in my estimation, should expand, or they need to start being able to penalize them in some way, shape, or form. You cannot have supreme powers like that. That's
no,
my thought on that. Okay.
I think there should be limits as to how many justices a president can appoint as well. I
I
remember
never thought of that one.
I
That's a
remember
good one.
when Obama was president and he was trying to, um, replace Supreme Court justice, and they backpedaled and backpedaled, and they never approved it, and then it ended up being a Trump.
Well, if you remember, McCullen, what's his name? That man from Kentucky. For some reason, I'm forgetting everybody's names tonight. He
Um,
specifically said that he was not about to appoint Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court under Obama. He said it. He
yeah,
didn't want to do it. And he specifically said it. I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they put it off until now. Trump elected pretty much most of the Supreme Court at this point. It's ridiculous that someone can appoint that many justices.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I agree with you. What's ridiculous too is that they're so hypocritical, where right is wrong for them and wrong is right. If we do something that's right, they see it as wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, we're going to take a break, and we will return with Miss Kelly Davis, who is the school board candidate for District 2, Seminole County. Zep Bolai Lawrence, realtor and property stager with a lake known as Fuchsia Lay Realty Group. You can give her a call at 321-689-3467. Send a fax at 321-445-6054. Email zepbl9@gmail.com. Once again, Zep Bolai Lawrence for all your realtor and property staging needs.
The Seminole County School Board serves to protect, empower, and inspire our students, families, and teachers. I am Kelly Davis, and I am running to serve on the school board because as a mother, grandmother, and former teacher, I recognize the challenges we face, and I know how we can solve them together. I thank you so much for voting. I am Kelly Davis, and I wholeheartedly approve this message.
And we are back. But before we return to Miss Kelly Davis, I just want to give you all some information on the Seminole County Democratic Voter Guide. Again, Caribbean Straight Talk is not about a specific party. It's not for just about the Democrats. We have also invited Republicans to be a part of this show. And so far, we haven't gotten any takers with the invitation. So it's not about Democrat or Republican. It's what's best for the country based on what's right and what is wrong. And I recognize that over the past couple of years, that has been kind of skewed, where some of us begin to even doubt ourselves. However, the Seminole County Democratic Voter Guide, of course, Governor Charlie Crist, State Representative for District 36, Deborah Polalayan. I hope I said her name right. Lieutenant Governor Carla Hernandez Matz, State Representative for District 37, Carlos Guillermo Smith, United States Senator Val Demings, State Representative Sarah Henry for District 38, U.S. Congress District 7, Karen Green, State Representative for District 39, Tiffany Hughes, Attorney General Aramis Ayala, County Commissioner for District 2, Katrina Shadix, I hope I said her name correctly, Chief Financial Officer Adam Hattersley, for County Commissioner for District 4, Patricia Patty Smith, for Commissioner of Agriculture, Naomi Blemure, for School Board, none other than our guest tonight, Miss Kelly Davis, District 2, State Senator Joy Joff Marcel for District 10, and School Board Member Autumn Garrick for District 5. And we are back with our guest, Miss Kelly Davis, School Board candidate for District 2. Yes. Hey, Kelly. How are you doing? Hanging in there?
Good. I just had a quick comment. The county positions and the school board positions are nonpartisan. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that the Republicans or the Democrats can't choose a candidate that they believe would be the best for the children and for the residents of a particular city or county. Mm-hmm. So we just need to remind people. Well, we need to remind people that when they get to the ballot, it's not going to have a little D or an R next to any of our names. So you're really going to have to put in the research.
I'm laughing because I like how you said it, a little D or a little R, and that's so true, but here's the thing. We live in a fast food society where people don't do their research. They just, I don't understand why you've got a little computer in your hand called a smartphone. Just Google, just Google.
Yeah.
All right, we are back. So my next question is, how would you approach the problem of bullying in our schools?
Well, this is a big issue of mine, mm-hmm. and it really encompasses our disciplinary system as a whole. And what my concern is for both the bullier and the person that is being bullied. It's twofold because both of them are affected. As far as our discipline program, I don't believe in just automatically zero tolerance, suspending students or expelling students. We get in a situation where they end up in the juvenile system and the adult system, where then I see them as a defendant in the case.
Mm-hmm.
We need programs that will focus on the reasons behind the bullying, the reasons why they're acting out, the reasons why they're insecure about themselves and feel that this behavior is necessary, because we can modify a lot of these behaviors, and these students can be productive in school and lead to success just like other students.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we have to protect our victims as well. And it's very important that they are allowed to say what they want to say to the person that is bullying them. If they want to meet in person, if they want to write a letter, if they want a friend to write a letter on their behalf explaining, what damage that it caused to this person's self-esteem. The accused need to understand the effect that they have on these victims. And we need to boost the self-esteem of victims. We need to identify that, this is not their issue. It's the person who is doing the bullying or, committing some sort of disorderly act that has the problem. And that relates back to all of these bills that we're talking about, because a lot of the bullying comes down to you're of a different race,
Mm-hmm.
you're of a different religion, a different culture, Hispanics, you're an immigrant, and you don't belong here. And of course, our LGBT communities. So, it's all related, and we need to attack it on both sides. We need to protect our victims, but we also need to change our bullies. We don't just need to throw them to the wayside and kick them out of school without giving them an opportunity to explore their own feelings and behaviors.
I totally agree with you. Michelle, I think we need to take a break. And we are back. Returning to that question, Kelly, I just wanted to, just add some input. As a clinical therapist, what I've found is that, we need to raise the awareness of the self-defeating behaviors. That's a clinical term for helping someone to see that they're displaying behavioral problems. And of course, when they're minors, you have to have the parents on board. But it's really important that the proper bills are signed in. And when you have the Florida legislature just doing their own thing, it becomes a problem. So I just needed to add that in there. You know. Anyhow, our next question: when you say more assistance for mental health problems, what specific problems are you referring to?
Well, I think that it's been a challenge for both our students, our parents, our teachers, and other staff since COVID. I think that a lot of people were worn out through that program of homeschooling, of video teaching, and a lot of parents had troubles with work, trouble with finances that have stressed them out. Of course, the students are stressed out. And unfortunately, while the school's main focus should be on curriculum and on the actual educational programs, we have to start with the mental health and emotional issues of our children, staff, and families. So, it becomes the school's job to do things better in that area so that children can focus and be motivated to learn. We don't have a big enough staff in each school to address the mental issues of our students and teachers. I would propose that we involve some of the organizations in the community, such as Aspire Health, Devereaux, and other places that are already receiving funding for mental health issues and emotional challenges. I also do not like to see students or teachers having to share a lot of their issues with other staff at the school. I think if we get the assistance of the community and their programs It would save a lot of money for the school boards, but it would also assure privacy of these students and privacy of our teachers. And they can come work in the schools as a subcontractor. They can carry through any sort of treatment or counseling during school breaks. They can carry through if they need treatment. They can carry it through to the summertime. And I just think that it's necessary in the time and age that we are right now, more than ever before.
I totally agree. And again, let me add something to that. I know currently there is, at least the agency that I work for, and I can't mention their names, of course. We do T-Bus, like I guess all other agencies do. And T-Bus is it allows you to practice in the school as well as in the home, because a lot of the problems that they occur predominantly in school, but they start in the home and they just transition it into the school and they act out. But I like where you're going with this. And I really think that that is something that not just the county, but the state can climb on board with, because yes, since the pandemic started in 2020, we have seen an increase, a major increase in mental health problems. We're going to take a break and we will return for our final question with Miss Kelly Davis, school board candidate for District 2.
Women of Culture 365 presents Glow, a greater level of wellness, with your host, Coach Mia Ullman, founder of Women of Culture 365 and Glow. Along with me are my co-hosts, Coach Sophie G, bringing you words of wisdom. Coach Dawn Hewitt shows how to treat the whole body. And Coach Lady Q, bringing you spiritual wellness. Join us as we go Facebook Live at Glow 365 TV show and on YouTube at Official Women of Culture, culture spelt with a K, every second Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as we talk about the mind, body, and soul. A conversation you do not want to miss. Also, visit us online at womenofculture.com.
Val Branch Duncan, Realtor with North Star First Properties. Whether it's buying or selling, Val can help, and she is certified to assist you in Jamaica, Grenada, Guyana, Barbados, Bahamas, and Trinidad and Tobago. Please call Val Branch Duncan, where V stands for valuable, A, attentive, L, loyal. Please give her a call at 321-303-9345 or 407-844-8622.
The Seminole County School Board serves to protect, empower, and inspire our students, families, and teachers. I am Kelly Davis, and I am running to serve on the school board because as a mother, grandmother, and former teacher, I recognize the challenges we face, and I know how we can solve them together. I thank you so much for voting. I am Kelly Davis, and I wholeheartedly approve this message.
And we are back. Caribbean Street Talk. My name is Lima Dunbar. You can find us on YouTube, Caribbean Street Talk. You can find us on Instagram, CST. Find us on any social media platform. We encourage you to follow us also on Facebook and tell your friends, tell your family about us, because we have just started, but we intend to be around for a very long time. You can hear us every Monday night on iTunes. I'm sorry, not iTunes Radio, not iTunes Magazine. I'm getting confused there. iTunesradio.com. That's where you can find us, as well as islandbeatradio.net. So we're back with Miss Kelly Davis. And Kelly, this is our last question for the night. Here in Orange County, there is a shortage of bus drivers. I don't know if the same exists for Seminole County. However, what incentives do you have for new hires? And I'm sure that that also includes new teachers, because I don't know if you saw the plan that DeSantis has already started implementing, where he is asking for first responders, for them to also jump into the classrooms and be teachers. What incentives do you all have for new hires?
Well, starting with the bus drivers, I'm very concerned about um, the possibility that they are not getting a living wage and being able to survive on what I'm reading about their salaries. And one of the things that I read in the contracts for the bus drivers and monitors is that they only increase a small increment over the time that they are working. I believe that it was about 30 years into their career that they are still only making 30 something $1,000 a year. Now, if I spent 30 years in a job, I would expect that I would be able to at least put away a little bit of money to end up having a little pot at the end to retire on. And it doesn't seem by looking at their contracts that they're going to be able to do that at all. And that's very disappointing. So we definitely need to work on an increase of salary. And I know everybody says that, but doesn't have a plan for it. We are not entitled to look at the entire budget until we are elected, but that's one of the first things that I want to see rearranged. As far as teachers as well, again, we need our more experienced teachers to stay. They deserve more money for their education and their experience. We will also expect more of those teachers with respect to mentoring our younger teachers coming in, both in and out of the classroom. It's not fair that some of these teachers who have way more experience are now making the same amount that new teachers coming into the school district at $47,500 are making. So obviously, money is a big deal. The other thing is that we need to alleviate some of the stress that they have. And that goes back to these new laws. It goes back to having assistant teachers where necessary, especially in our special needs programs. There are a lot of different types of students, and it's almost impossible for one special needs teacher to manage all of those different needs.
Well, if class sizes are 25, 30, average 25 to 30 kids per classroom, I mean, that's a stress right there for the teachers because not all of them have powers helping out in the classroom. And I wanted to, the word that kept evading me earlier on was inflation. With inflation, where cost of living has just gone sky high, you can't be paying someone $37,000 average annually because that just ain't gonna cut it.
No.
Everything has gone up.
Yeah, I believe bus drivers start out at $12 an hour. It's not even up to 15. And the monitors, I think, even less. And they have a really tough job, these monitors on these school buses. So, we have to take care of our employees because we're not going to have enough to supervise our students if we don't.
Wow. The job of a school board commissioner, from everything that I'm hearing, is not easy. But Miss Kelly Davis, I believe that you are up to the task. All
Thank
the information, you're welcome. All the information that you shared here on this show, I hope that our listeners can, just judge from what they're hearing and realize that they will have someone that will be looking out for the interests of their kids in that seat. So thank you so much for being a guest on Caribbean Street Talk tonight.
Thank you. Hope you have a good night. Thank you.
You're welcome. You take care. Thanks again.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So we're sharing some information to please elect Miss Kelly Davis, Seminole County School Board, November 8th. Remember that early voting has already started. KellyDavisForKids.com. You can go to her website to get any more information that you may need. But if you've been listening to her responses to all these questions that we talked about or shared tonight, you realize that she is a really good candidate. So remember, early voting has already started. Please remember to vote Kelly Davis, Seminole County School Board. You're going to get a really good choice. And then remember, November 8th, Election Day. Val Branch Duncan, Realtor with North Star First Properties. Whether it's buying or selling, Val can help, and she is certified to assist you in Jamaica, Grenada, Guyana, Barbados, Bahamas, and Trinidad and Tobago. Please call Val Branch Duncan, where V stands for valuable, A, attentive, L, loyal. Please give her a call at 321-303-9345 or 407-844-8622.